Hello, this is Reverend James Hutchings, and I'm speaking from inside St Mary Barnes, and I'm pleased to say that we're going to be able to reopen the church for regular services starting in the coming days. Our first service, in fact, will be on Thursday, the 4th of March, and then our Sunday services will resume on Sunday, the 7th of March. And so we're really looking forward to that. We've looked at the number of cases locally here and also the rollout of the vaccine programme and judge that this is a safe time to be able to do this. We'll be continuing with all the social distancing and hygiene controls that existed before, and we will also continue to be offering a number of the services online as well. So both of the options, coming to church and joining online, will be kept. So last week I was looking at, and the readings were looking at, the idea of the covenant that God has with us, symbolised by the rainbow, a great sign of hope and a sign of God's everlasting covenant with us. And in the readings we have this Sunday, 28th of February in church, we have talk of another covenant. This is the covenant that God makes with Abraham. And Abraham is that figure who is fundamental not only in Christianity but in Judaism and in Islam as well. He is seen as the father of all of those faiths. And in this, God says that he will make a covenant with him and that he will be the ancestor of a multitude of nations. So he's a wonderfully powerful and inclusive figure for us to reflect on. And Abraham is also somebody who is celebrated by St Paul in his writings as a great example of faith, someone who acted faithfully, responding to God's call to him. And that's true. It's also true that both he and his wife Sarah, when these things are said to them by God, initially their response is to laugh. It says they fell down and they laughed. And when God says that Sarah's going to have a child, they laugh at that. And I rather like that they are faithful and they do follow God's call, but they are also very human in their response and need a little bit of time to be able to work out what the right thing it is to do. In our gospel reading this Sunday, we have some challenging words from Jesus about what it is to follow him. And so I'll just read a short part of it. Jesus called the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it." And it's quite challenging stuff, and it's something that the disciple Peter initially can't believe that Jesus is going to be suffering and is going to go on the way to the cross. But Jesus explains to him that this is the necessary path to take. And it's challenging stuff. And the idea of denying ourselves, self-restraint, seems very austere thing to kind of follow. And that can be the image of this season of Lent. I think perhaps rather we should be thinking of the idea of denying self is what is the self that we are denying? Because there is that insistent voice that me first and satisfying immediate needs is the thing that I really need. But is it what I really need? The message of the Christian faith is that we have those deeper needs, which is to be drawing closer to God and loving him and loving our neighbour as ourselves. And that those are things that are deeper to us than, in fact, the surface needs that we may feel are hard to deny. But by denying them, we draw closer to our true selves. Jesus says, take up our cross. And now, taking up a cross, again, sounds very challenging. But it's that call to sacrificial love and sacrificial giving, which is really at the heart of the things that we celebrate most in life, isn't it? The sacrificial love of a parent for a child, the sacrificial love of those who seek to keep the peace in our world, the sacrificial love of those who've served us through the pandemic. And that is the meaning of take up our cross. It is what is that way of giving to others and self-giving that will change things around us for good. And then follow me. We believe as Christians that there is a path to follow. There is a person to follow, not just a set of rules and regulations, but a person, the person of Jesus Christ. He is the one we're drawn to. He is the one we're called to follow, and that following in his footsteps is the way to fullness of life. So that is the challenge for us this Sunday. We have our usual pattern of services, which will be available online at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And we also have a special series of services of night prayer of Compline available from 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. A very simple 15 minutes together. And I do invite you to join in one of those, and do go to our website for any other information you want to see about what's going on in the church at this time. But I pray that in this time when we think about the Rainbow Covenant and we think about the covenant of diversity with Abraham, we may know that oneness of spirit as a community here in Barnes with our families and friends and further afield as we seek to chart a better future out of the past year into the way that lies ahead. Thank you and God bless.